Welcome to the BoshNRoll channel. If you want to support my daily Eternal Magic offerings while getting amazing perks like the BoshNRoll Discord community, have me play your deck on the channel, or listen sideboard guides before tournaments, check out the Patreon or YouTube membership program. This channel is possible because of these amazing sponsors. Check them out, all their links are in the video description. As always, thanks for being here. Let's go play some Magic. Welcome back to the BoshNRoll channel. Today, I have a completely insane deck from subscriber Schultz Cubed. And this is Vintage Tameshi Lands. This deck, although it's named Tameshi Lands, is actually a Fastbond deck. This is the primary engine, unbanned or unrestricted in recent memory. This card, you could only play one of in Vintage for a long time, but now you get a lot of them. 1 green enchantment, you may play any number of lands on your turn. Whenever you play a land, if it wasn't the first land you played this turn, Fastbond deals 1 damage to you. This is a card that naturally goes in a deck with a ton of lands. There are 29 lands in this deck. Vintage decks frequently play somewhere between 0 and 12 lands, and we've got 29. And those 29 lands are on top of Black Lotus, Mana Crypt, Moxen, etc. But there's a ton of mana in this deck. And what we're trying to do with this mana is get a Fastbond and a Crucible of Worlds and play at the same time. And from there, everything goes crazy. If you can play lands from your graveyard, and you can play any number of lands in a turn, then lands that sacrifice themselves for some sort of value just go infinite, or at least they go large. You start getting combos. The first step is Fastbond deals 1 to you for each land you play beyond the first. Dealing with that, we have Glacial Chasm. Prevent all damage that would be dealt to you. There's a lot of other words on this card, but they're not important. If we get Glacial Chasm into play, then we can play any number of lands in a turn. And then, Bazaar Baghdad, draw 2, then discard 3, basically becomes tap to draw 2 cards, because you can play the cards that matter from your graveyard. If there's a Wasteland or Strip Mine in your graveyard, after you use your Bazaar, you can play the Wasteland the Bazaar, and then play both of them out of the graveyard again, and then you can draw 2, discard 3, until basically your whole deck's in the graveyard. At which point, we can find Ipnu Rivulet, which, 1 on blue, tap sack a desert, target player mills 4. Any source of blue mana, plus Wasteland with our Crucible loop, gives you infinite blue mana. You float a blue, Wasteland the blue source, play them both out, rinse and repeat. Then when you have infinite blue, you can sack Ipnu Rivulet infinite times to mill your opponent for infinite, at which point you can target them with Cephalid Coliseum, making them draw 3 cards and losing on the spot. The deck also contains Buried Ruin, which can rebuy any number of artifacts from your graveyard if you have infinite mana and you can play lands from your graveyard. Return target artifact from your graveyard to your hand for 2 and sacrifice this. That can get you back Manifold Key and Time Vault, which is a combo where you take all the turns for the rest of the game. You could even regrow Bolas Citadel and play it if you somehow need more resources than you have here. Mystic Sanctuary. There's enough islands in the deck to trigger this one. This can put Time Walk or Tinker on top of your deck. And then you can Wasteland your Mystic Sanctuary, go to your extra turn, Time Walk, and then you have infinite turns. You can Mystic Sanctuary your Time Walk every turn, and then figure out how to win from there. There are 2 Urza Sagas and the 2 Tameshis that can actually deal damage and defeat your opponent outside of the mill them out combo. Savine's Reclamation is a card that you can cast from your graveyard that can return Crucible of Worlds and Fastbond to play. You just get everything in one little package. If you already have one piece or another, you can get back Tameshi or Teferi instead, or Time Vault and Voltaic Key, or Manifold Key, excuse me. Basically, we're just trying to put our deck into our graveyard quickly and then win with it. But we're not doing dredge stuff. There are 2 Life from the Loams. But other than that, we're not like, there's no Golgari Grave Troll, there's no Hogak, there's no Vengevine. But we are very much a Bazaar combo deck. And we get a lot of the toolbox stuff that just normal lands decks get. Tabernacle of Pendrel Vale, Bajuka Bog, Boseiju, the previously mentioned Glacial Chasm. There's a lot of tech lands in here, and between Crop Rotation, Ancestral Recall, Fastbond, we can find them kind of reliably. Tameshi, who I haven't mentioned since shouting out the deck, basically. X and white, return a land you control to its owner's hand, return target artifact or enchantment card with mana value extra less from your graveyard to the battlefield, activate only as a sorcery. Black Lotus is an artifact that is easy to recur. And if you have unlimited land drops, as long as you have a white source and a Black Lotus, you then have infinite mana, which can then return Time Vault and Voltaic Key from the graveyard to the battlefield. That's the thing Tameshi does. Basically, this deck is just completely insane, and Schultz Cube sent it to me looking for advice because they've been working on it for a long time and trying to tune it up to get it up to find the next level of the deck. And I will do my best, but let me tell you, I do not have a year of practice under this deck, and this deck is insane. I will do my very best, and I will offer what insight I can when I have insight to give. But in general, I think I'm going to be flying by the seat of my pants when I play this thing. But guaranteed, we're going to do some cool stuff. So let's do this. This is Schultz Cube's Tameshi Fastbond Lands combo. I'm getting after it. I am on the play in round 1. And I have a Mana Crypt Life from Loam, but that's not really anything. I'm going to mulligan this one. This just doesn't do any of this stuff. Okay, here is a Fastbond and Crucible. This does all of the stuff. Now the question is, do I bottom one of the lands or one of the Crucibles? I guess I kind of need all of it. This mulligan's tough. Riftstone Portal is a combo with Bazaar Baghdad. There are way more lands in the deck than there are Crucibles. Okay, I'm going to bottom Portal. And the first test of this game will be if this Fastbond resolves. Are we in? Please. We're in. Okay, Bazaar. If I draw 2, discard 3 here. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. My hand cannot change in a way that is meaningful to me. Like, I can't get 3 lands. I could have Black Lotus. Alright, I'll try it. That's tough. Alright, well, I'll discard a Crucible, and I have 1 left over, and now I gotta draw a land. Disappointed to give my opponent a turn at all here. And a Crypt. Now it's their turn to be stupid. Alright, we are playing against Shops, which makes sense why none of my spells were countered. Foundry Inspector. Brinisphere, okay. Spell I was gonna cast costs 3 anyway. I do need to draw a mana producing land right now though. And then I'm going nuts. Okay, we're in there. Fetch for Tropical Island. Fetch for Tundra. Crucible of Worlds get into play. And let's see how far I can get with this. I can fetch all of the fetchables out of my deck before I start doing stuff. This is going to start costing a lot of life at some point though. I think it's worth doing. Trop. Yeah, there's really only the two Trops, and there's nothing to go with the Mystic Sanctuary yet. And then we Hail Mary off of Bazaar. It's Strip Mine. Okay. I can keep the Bazaar train going. If my life total lasts longer than how long it takes me to find Glacial Chasm, and I get to Dredge Loam for extra looks here. No love off that one. Strip Mine. Strip the Bazaar. I mean, the Loam is a huge help. This sees so many more cards. Dredge Loam. Jukabog. Urza Saga. I'm approaching the point where I could just die to this Foundry Inspector attacking me. If I'm not super careful. Did I sign up to be careful? I don't think that I did. Strip Mine, get in. Bazaar, I go to 6. Dredge Loam. Okay. There's now a Time Walk in my graveyard. Is there a way to get that on top of my deck and get another turn here? The Mystic Sanctuary's here. But can I actually draw a functional Magic card? Don't know that I can. Cephalid Coliseum goes a card deeper than Bazaar without hurting me twice. So Cephalid Coliseum can come in. And I don't think I can get a card in my hand here. Okay, I'll try to loot myself. Dredge Loam, Wasteland Crucible, Riftstone Portal hit the bin. I don't think that helps. This deck is so weird. All right, let's put my graveyard where we can see it. Put it right over my opponent's cards because they don't matter. If I Wasteland, I go to 4, Bazaar go to 3, Wasteland go to 2, Bazaar go to 1, and I have to find Glacial Chasm in my top 8 cards if I take that line. I could also just Wasteland my opponent right now, but then they get a Foundry Inspector attack in, which is just as bad for me as anything else. Okay. I guess I have to go for it this turn. At least at this point. Maybe there's a point where I should have slowed down and stopped. I could play Saga, go to 4, attack go to 1, and then I can make constructs that block. This sounds so... Going for another Coliseum run here. That does see more cards, and I do still have a blue available. Come on, Glacial Chasm, where are you? Oh, I hit the other loam, now we're cooking. And we found the Chasm. That should be GG. Cool. Glacial Chasm, put that into play. I no longer take damage. Always yield to Fastbond. Glacial Chasm. I have to sacrifice a land. How about this Bazaar? Alright, now we're going completely nuts. And I'm going to put my graveyard away because I need to interact with my opponent briefly. Wasteland that. Okay, now what? Now I Wasteland my Tropical Island. Wasteland. Float blue. Okay, we have the win here. New Rivulet is my win condition. Put all these lands in. At this point in paper, I would say I'm making infinite blue milling you than making you draw a card. But we cannot do that in this position on Magic Online. So I guess I will have to float. I'm going to target them to mill 4 cards and see if they get it. Or see if they want to concede to it. Because I'm also getting information here. Alright, cool. Vintage players are usually pretty cool at conceding when they're dead. They just wanted to see the win there. Alright. Alright, well, a turn 2 in game 1 through a Trinisphere. I like it. I like it a lot. I did put a bunch of cards in the sideboard here. The sideboard was not fully fleshed out when it was sent to me, so I got to fill in some of the blanks, and I put a bunch of energy fluxes in. I don't know that we want Collector Oof this matchup, and it seems so obvious. Big artifact deck, bring in Collector Oof, but a lot of Shops decks play Null Rod of their own. But I guess if it's part of a total package with Force of Vigor, adding my green cards, Bolas the Citadel sucks. Sphinx of the Steel Wind is kind of in the deck as a pivot against decks where Bolas the Citadel is not good. Trinisphere not helpful in the matchup. I don't need to Teferi my opponent. I believe all of the lands should stay untouched. Well, I don't really need Bojuka Bog here. Bojuka Bog is like one of very few lands I would actually touch. And on the draw, Mox Diamond seems bad. There's no forces in this deck, so I am at the whim of my opponent's turn 1. Hush pretty bad against Shops. Get the energy fluxes and the Force of Vigors in first. Those are my primary objective here. Courser of Crucifix can gain infinite life. And it's also just a booty you can put in front of Shops creatures. And Shops can't beat infinite life either. I think I'm not going to do the Collector Oof thing. There's just not room for it. Or at least I can't find it. They have Tinker Sphinx. That's a pivot for if they have Graveyard Hate, which they probably will because this is vintage and everybody knows how to put Graveyard Hate in their deck. Sensei's Top is a lot worse without Bolas' Citadel, but it is still part of the Saga package. I think I'm going to shave it though. Alright, this is where I ended up. No idea if this is correct, but I ran out of time. Okay, this hand powers a Crucible onto the stack. It does very little besides that. Is that enough to win this matchup on its own? I want to keep 7. Alright, I'm going to keep this. Crucible is a absolute unit. in a lot of situations. And Energy Flux, though it does challenge my own Crucible, which I don't like, is one of the most potent sideboard cards possible for a matchup like this. Automaton, Soul Ring. A good chance we are just dead or lethal threatened before anything. Alright, yeah, Sphere of Resistance. Turns off my Crucible action. Oh, Time Vault. I'll cast that card. I can get that one through. And pass the turn. If they have a Wasteland, the game's probably over. Phyrexian Metamorph. This is probably going to copy their Sphere and just try to tempo me out of the game. Oh, Soul Ring. They're going above their own Sphere rather than trying to squeeze me under it. And I can see my hand and they can't. They don't know how many Ancient Tombs or how many Mishra's Workshops I play. Oh, God. Well, that makes a lot of sense. In that case, Karn turns off Time Vault, so that takes my easy win off the board. It also takes most of my hard wins off the board. Maybe this hand sucked. I was just pretty into the idea of turn 1 Crucible that shrugs off Chalice of the Void, Chronosphere. Once I get it down, I care a lot less about Wasteland, but Sphere of Resistance, Karn the Great Creator. Pretty good 2 turns. They got their own Crucible. Show off. Glacial Chasm. I mean, that is something resembling a plan. Do Vintage decks play Mycosynth Lattice? Is that even necessary or normal to have in lists? And if they have it, they could just shove it here. I don't even know if that card gets played, because Karn is frequently Mycosynth Lattice just on its face in Vintage. Waking up the Sphere. They're just going in for damage here. Boundary Inspector. Last card in hand is Crucible, plus they have Karn activations. I am dead in 2 hits here. I get 1 more draw step. What does it have to be? Is there even a card it could be? Not convinced I have an out here. And I can play the Chasm and buy myself a turn, which I guess is the out. Okay. Glacial Chasm, get in. Sacrifice Workshop. And I don't have any artifacts I can cast here, so I'm just going to have to pay 2 life, then 4 life, and I get 2 more draw steps to try to figure this out. I gotta find Green Source and Fastbond in my next 2 cards. Wish for Walking Ballista. Okay, now I don't have a window where I can loop Glacial Chasm. If it ever leaves play, I just die. Also, if they draw a Wasteland, I die. Lodestone Golem, sure. I already wasn't dead enough. Attacking to make a point. Do not take this damage, but I accept the attack all the same. I would like to pay 2 life and draw a good card. That is a Green Source. And I can play out of my graveyard. Don't think I'm going to have enough time to execute all this, but that's a start. If I fetch, I go to 1. Yeah, I'm going to run out of life. Okay. Out of luck here. The Walking Ballista tutor made a lot of sense. And I can't just leave this open because I will also lose to that if they tutor up a Needle, and then I can't fetch. Ooh, that's Soul Guide Lantern. It can't beat that either. It took my shop, though. That gives me a chance to fire off the fetch land from the graveyard. Does that matter? Is there any draw? No, because I have to pay for Chasm down to 1. Or else I get Ballista pinged. Yeah, I'm just dead here. We don't need to figure this out any further. Okay, now I get a game on the play, where I get to put my things down before my opponent kills me. Mox Diamond back in. I want as much early mana as I can get. Energy Flux pretty awkward with my own Mox in, but at the same time, actually I think I just talked myself out of Mox Diamond. I was about to say it's worse for my opponent than it is for me, but if I'm killing my own mana sources, it might end up being pretty comparable. Yeah, I think this is just the same deck. I could bring my Chalice in because I'm on the play. You just drop out your zeros and play it on 0 and slow your opponent down. That's what it's for, but now I'm going like this. Come on, good hand. This is an Expedition map that I cannot activate. 2 lands that don't make mana, and a Force of Vigor with no green card to pitch. no real path to energy flux. Yeah, I'm going to mulligan this. Bizarre Crucible are both here, but that's not enough. I think this is the type of matchup where like a perfect 3 or 4 card hand is better than any sort of mediocre 6 or 7. Go to 5. Drop rotation. Okay. This and turn 1 Crucible. If I rotate for Mishra's Workshop, and then I can start wastelanding my opponent out underneath. And I get to float this Force of Vigor around in case it ever comes up. So I keep this bottom Mox Pearl and Wasteland. Wasteland Pearl, because Strip Mine is Wasteland, but better. Drop, rotate, find my Mishra's Workshop, and play Crucible. And hope that I can just strip lock my opponent. Let's see, hope they have a prison hand and not an aggro hand. But any green card is pretty good against the aggro hand as well. Just pass the turn. Pass the turn. It's vintage. What are the chances you have more spells in the hand that you kept? Automaton. Are there more? Mana Crypt also. Oh god, we're wrecked. And Sphere. Okay. So now even drawing green source is not or green card is not necessarily good. Oh. Oh. Okay. I can play Trop from my graveyard, which would get me Fastbond next turn. I could also pitch Fastbond to destroy their 2 non-land mana sources. But then what's my plan to actually win the game? The Sphere means I can't strip the Saga. I would have to leave Saga in play for a turn if I'm going to destroy their Crypt and Ring. Got 2 cards left over there. And then I would have to be just at the will of my deck to find some answer to Automaton. I think I'm just going to strip mine them. Yeah, that's so tough. If they did not have a threat, or if they did not have Sphere, or if they did not have Soul Ring and Mana Crypt, I feel okay. But they did, in fact, have all 4 of those things. Foundry Inspector and another threat. This is what I was worried about. I have my pieces here. I am just not an effective prison deck. This doesn't look good, team. Oh, good. Pithing Needle. They have cast their entire hand, and I can't use Workshop to pay for Ward 2. Yeah, even if this was some other thing, if this was just 2 Foundry Inspectors, I could Force a Vigor the 2 of them and buy a bunch of time for my Crucible to work. But it's even the one with Ward. Everything exactly perfect. Name Strip Mine. Okay, drop from the graveyard and pass the turn. In their top decking now, I don't need to knee-jerk and go crazy. They've also won both Crypt Flips, just for insult to injury here. This is 9, puts me to 5. If all this happens, I don't think there's even a way out of this. Right? Because if I play Fastbond, I just die. I think I'm just dead here. Yeah, this was... yeah, that start they had, and I've already laid it out, but having 2 sources of artifact mana, the creature with Ward, the Sphere, and the land that I had to waste or else I start losing to the land. If this is Foundry Inspector, if the Sphere's not involved, if they have Crypt or Ring, but not both, if this land is like Ancient Tomb or some shit instead of Urza Saga, there's just 5 different points of the star here, any one of which didn't come together. I think we're stable and doing okay, but yeah, that's vintage. On to the next one. This video is sponsored by Moxfield.com, the easiest way to build Magic decks online. Moxfield supports over 30 formats, including Legacy and everything else you'll see on this channel. There's multiple customizations so you can interact with your deck how you want. Views such as text, grid, or stacks, and groupings like type, subtype, color, color identity, even artist. The site offers light mode, dark mode, and so much more. However you want to see your deck, Moxfield can provide it for you. Follow my Moxfield to keep up with the channel and what I'm playing in paper. I'll see you there. I'm on the draw for round 2, and this hand can go turn 1 Riftstone Portal, turn 2 Glacial Chasm, sack the portal, tap Chasm for Fastbond. Fastbond, nothing. Yeah, this doesn't look like a keep. Okay, this one has Fastbond, Strip Mine, and Time Vault can get going with the Seiju to interact. I think I want to keep this one and give my deck a chance to deliver the goods. Playing Vintage with non-blue decks is so stressful to me. Anything could happen right now. Underground Sea. Time Vault. Okay. Time Vault is a powerful magic card. Doubt about it. Ooh, Crucible. I like that one. Mox Emerald. I'm going to test the Fastbond first, see if this works. We're in there. Okay, Mana Crypt. Boseiju. Crucible. Strip Mine. And hope that I made the right choice going for Strip Mine over Hold Up Boseiju. Oh wait, I can play this out of my graveyard. Is there a reason to do that? Graveyard Hate is in the format. Okay, Strip Mine's back up. Yeah, if they play Urza's Saga, I can pick it off before it learns how to make mana. Now I gotta find Key or Bazaar. Get something going here. Won my Crypt Flip. Easy game. Okay, this finds Bazaar. Edition map. Go. And I can even play the Time Vault out. See if they want to interact with this. 2. Okay, Force of Will pitching PO. Deal. Map for Bazaar. And then start drawing extra cards. Let's go. Oboro in the graveyard with Tinker. Disappointing. Okay, I've played Oboro. And I think I want to upkeep Bazaar, because if I hit Loam, it's better in my graveyard. I have to discard all these cards anyway. Keep winning Crypt Flips, too easy. Portal to Fairy. I guess I could have picked up Oboro and actually insulated the Bazaar pretty well. Yeah, that's a thing that I had not considered, but it's probably worth considering. Okay, Urza's Saga is a win condition. I'm not going to play Riftstone Portal. It's better in the graveyard. Oh, I could be pushing my life total to Bazaar combo here. Why wasn't that on my radar? That's like the whole deck. Shit, if I lose right now, it's my own fault. I had 17 life with which to find Glacial Chasm and go off. They found Academy. Am I dead? Tinker. Okay. This can get either Citadel or Key. If they get Key and don't have mana, I can chill and try to go off on my turn. If they do have mana, I lose because I didn't go for it on my turn. Out of all the tendrils of this deck, it's like a big stupid squid, and I just like forgot about the head of the squid. They did go for Citadel. Land on top, pass the turn. Well, looks like we are getting a land on top, pass the turn situation. Okay, so I get to 3 for 3 on Crypt Flips, easy. And now I can start doing the thing. I don't need a second copy of Crucible. I could pick up Oboro, and I will. That's a cool trick this deck has. This way I get to actually keep a card in my hand post-Bazaar in case I care. Saga, Colosseum, discard Crucible, Oboro, and Colosseum. I don't want Colosseum till later if I want it at all. And play Saga. Yeah, this doesn't matter. The Oboro game. I could be doing Oboro stuff, using my life total aggressively, but that's not what this is going to be about. It's about finding the chasm before I lose here. I'm not going to trust my opponent to pass the turn again with Bolas Citadel in play. Doing the thing. Pay 2 life to draw 2 cards. Night's Whisper until I'm out of life total. Wasteland to Fairy. On Chasm. Even take a Loam. Help this move this party along. 2 more things that are not helpful. Tabernacle, Manifold Key. Key doesn't matter. They countered my Time Vault. Strip Mine puts me to 7. Bazaar puts me to 6. Then 4, then 2. I can do this 2 more times. That's not very many. Ancestral Recall and Tameshi. All these good spells. It's disappearing. And I don't have a blue source to go a card deeper with Cephalid Colosseum. Let's see, is Oboro Cephalid Colosseum That's the same 2 damage that I would take from strip myself. So that one is worth doing. Oboro Coliseum. This does go a card deeper. Come on, Chasm. Almost there. Almost there. Gosh, 2 crop rotations. Oh, was I supposed to pick up Oboro? I was. God, this deck's fucking hard. Yeah, instead of crop rotating for Glacial Chasm now, I'm gonna lose. Yeah, if I had just tapped this irrelevant Moxed Emerald, because Cephalic Coliseum, unlike Bazaar, is card neutral. So, yeah, I was ignoring it because it doesn't get me out of Bazaar range, but it would have got me out of Coliseum range, and now, like, crops. Yeah, this deck is so hard. My brain is not big enough for this. I get one more shot here. Do I have another blue source in the graveyard? I do not. So if I go strip mine to 3, strip Oboro, play Oboro, I'm at 2, play Coliseum, I'm at 1. Okay. That works. At least well enough. I haven't hit a tropical island anywhere here. Cephalic Coliseum. Strip mine. Oh, I could have saved a life on strip mine. I could have just picked up Oboro and replayed it. Wow, it's so hard. I don't know what's going on anymore. And I don't have a loam, so there's no tricky workaround to get this Besaju into my graveyard and kill the Bolas' Citadel either. Okay. Pick up Oboro. Play Oboro. I'm at 1. And then float a colorless. Float a blue. Pick up Oboro. And then this time I will have 1 card left in my hand, though I've just gotten rid of all my crop rotations. Draw 3, discard 3. Come on, Glacial Chasm. Time Walk with no blue sources left at 1 life. Okay, I will put these lands in my graveyard, and I cannot play anymore. I'm going to strip mine the Academy, and then see if I can win another consecutive crypt flip. Yeah, I messed that turn up 1,000 different ways. Learn from my mistakes. Jesus, this deck. Paradoxical outcome for 1, you might as well. Oko Thief of Crowns, maybe it'll turn off my Mana Crypt. Mystical Tutor, okay. We certainly lose now, right? No way, Mystical Tutor misses. Yeah, that pick up Oboro for Cephalid Coliseum trick is something that someone who had played 5 matches with this league before would have known about, but I am figuring this thing out on the fly. And I did Goldfish a bunch of hands with it, but when you release a video a day, you can't play 30 matches with a deck to get proficient with it all the time. Okay, they tutored for Force of Will. So that's on top of their deck now with Bolas' Citadel. What? They think that's what this game is about? I'm probably going to lose to my Mana Crypt, so it doesn't matter, but yikes. And they made a food. Okay. It's all about this crypt flip. I'm going to make a construct in the end step. And then here it is. It's all here. All the... lost the flip. Couldn't maintain my 100% flip rate. Yeah, I messed that game up. Noted. Collector Oof get in, Mindbreak Trap, and Chalice get in. Learn some new tricks. Force of Vigor is not bad either. It's just how deep do I want to go? I don't think this is a Teferi matchup. I don't think I'm going to out-tinker them either. And tinkering for Vault or Key is still alive. But I think I'm the Prison deck here. This deck has the modes of Prison and Combo. This is one I can cut Bog in. I don't think I need Mox Diamond. Kind of weirded out by the Mox Diamond, I'm not going to lie. That card just makes me so nervous in high power formats where you're going to mull to 5 and then also discard a card to get your mana source online. Okay, would I rather have some Force of Vigors than Sensei's Divining Top? I think so. And a Tameshi can chill. And I'm just the Prison deck now. I see the energy fluxes. I don't think I want them. This hand is really good. I'm going to keep it. Mindbreak Trap stops me from getting just cheesed out early. I've boarded out most of stuff that super cares about the graveyard. So I can trap to keep myself alive, oof to actually win the game. Wasteland Urza Sagas. Hope they kept a loose one on the strength of Leyline. Oh, you're Oath now? Alright, never mind. Okay, this got weird. They have cast 2 spells this turn, so if I force a Vigor the Oath, or I mean I'm forcing the Oath, it's do I want to take out Leyline or Sapphire with it? Probably Sapphire, because I'm gonna wasteland them. Yeah, okay. Pitching the Oof, take out Sapphire. I can Mindbreak Trap of Force, then I wasteland them and beat them with their own 1/1. Wasteland you. And begin the slow, miserable grind. Drawing the Bazaar immediately makes me wish I dealt with the Leyline. Workshop, okay. Trinisphere's in my deck somewhere. I have a bunch of Crucibles that don't matter till I deal with Leyline. If I fill up my hand with too many stupid lands like Workshop, I might actually use Bazaar fair and square. Fetched a non-basic, give it to me. Oh no, you have another Oath. How about you just chill? Why would you do this to me? What universe do we live in that this is acceptable? Okay, so I gotta find Boseiju. Ooh, what does Crop Rotation do? That's a good card. It's too late for me to not pay for my spirits. They're gonna trigger. Crop Rotation does find Boseiju, but not in a way that's useful to me. Cephalic Coliseum. I don't have Threshold and can't get it. Hypnu Rivulet. If they go too deep on Oathing, could happen. Could do something. I don't know. I don't like it. 2 Oaths. Bummer. I think I'm gonna play. If I play Bazaar, I can activate it. I'll go to 6 cards and have to discard 3 of them. Then I can rotate away the Bazaar. That gives me the most card selection. Rotating away the Workshop, it gets rid of a land that is not useful to me at all. I could start with Bazaar. Alright, I think that's the best way forward here. Okay, it was not helpful. Discard Mishra's Workshop, one of the Wastelands, and the Yavimaya. Attack for 2 and see what the situation is. If I had the Crop Rotation already, I could have spun up Tabernacle and then just never paid for a spirit, and they would have to make one on my end step, which would have bought me a turn. Traxa is the hit. Does my deck have Caracas? No, because we're not playing Legacy. I'm certainly going to rotate here before Atraxa trigger resolves. I'm going to rotate away the Bazaar and probably get Saga, just to do literally anything. Chasm doesn't help. Yeah, I guess I'll grab a Saga. It's revealing all these cards to me. I don't even know what's part of the Atraxa and what's part of the Oath. I guess the Oath pile probably stops at Atraxa, and then a Force of Will, Leyline, PO, Soul Ring, more Atraxa. Something like Mazabith or Caracas would be pretty great here. Like stabilize and make them actually win the game somehow. Those are not cards that my deck contains. There's the Soul Ring, they just got off Atraxa. The Forbidden Orchard. Time Vault, oh god. We're just getting Vault Keyed as well. Just got it all. I can Mindbreak Trap the next thing they do. I'm gonna fetch in the end step, and Savine's Wreck is my only white card, so I'm gonna get a Trop. Black Lotus. A little late to the party, but I will certainly use it. Now I'm not really sure what my plan is. If they trigger Oath again, that means they have Gaia's Blessing, which did not trigger Oath again. We know there's an Atraxa somewhere in their deck. They have 8 cards left. And my only out here is Hypnu Rivuletting them. And I can tutor Expedition Map, which tutors Hypnu. Collector Oof. Interesting. Okay. Do I want to make another construct? Does that matter? Is it any part of my game plan at all? Their deck will not run out faster than my life total does. What's in this package? Manifold Key. I guess that's a way I could still win the game. Okay. I'm gonna just float with Saga. Now the options are Expedition Map that could get a variety of things, or Manifold Key and give myself 1 turn to beat this Force of Will by drawing exactly Time Vault? I don't think so. I could also use the Expedition map to tutor Glacial Chasm, which it would cost me 2, then 4, then 6. I would get 2 turns out of that. The same 2 turns I have now. Not even good. I'm going to use this floating mana right now to map so I can waste them, change phases, and they can't hardcast Force. Tabernacle. Alright, Oathing myself doesn't do anything. That puts Tameshi into play, and I don't have a graveyard. Or Collector Roof. So Tabernacle refusing to pay, triggering their Oath is not a thing. It's too late to destroy their Oath by tutoring Boseiju. Something as simple as Karakas would be really good here. Legacy technology did not make it into the vintage deck, but I miss it. I'm going to grab an Ibnu Rivulet and then wasteland my opponent's Underground Sea and go into combat. Mystical Tutoring with their floating mana. They get Tinker with this. They failed to find. They were just goofing around. Okay. I'm going to play this Collector Oof then. I should probably play it off of Black Lotus. Or I could just keep Black Lotus. Mostly the same on this board. Okay. Here we are. I have to hope my opponent messes up into an onboard Ibnu Rivulet is my line here. Both triggers. Sure they won't use it. Glacial Chasm might buy me. It buys me exactly 1 turn. Gush with 1 island. Oh my goodness. Kind of want my Collector Roof to die now. I guess I'll attack with it and see if they take the bait. This would be a really bad block. You're at 29, just take it. Yep. Okay, I messed up game 1. I was not ready for an Oath Pivot game 2. But we've lost this one. It's tough to give feedback on such a convoluted deck on so few reps, but a Karakas or Maze of Ith would have gone a long way there. We had access to all the lands in our deck more than once, and then it just was not. None of them were helpful in a way that mattered. Maybe I'm supposed to take out the Leyline rather than the Mox, but I put them to 0 non-Leyline permanents, and they just, over the next 2 turns, went land that was safe from Wasteland, Orchard, Second Oath. I don't know. I don't know how bad I'm supposed to feel about that, because I did survive the first wave and squeeze their resources pretty hard while presenting a clock, and then they did this anyway.
You come here to level up at Magic. To level up as a software engineer, check out the new YouTube series Dev Better, hosted by the founder of 7 Factor Software and Magic player, Jeremy Duvall. 7 Factor's small teams of high-performing engineers build custom mobile apps, APIs, and highly scalable systems for Fortune 500 companies and ambitious startups with great ideas. If you'd like to hire 7 Factor, or maybe join their team, contact them through their website at 7factor.io. And don't forget to subscribe to 7 Factor's YouTube for every episode of Dev Better.
I'm on the draw in round 3. No green for my green spells. Very slow blue for my blue spell. This has to be a mulligan. Did you all see this? The Fastbond and crop rotation didn't even move, and then different cards appeared around them. Cool. This hand is just as bad as the first, for the same reasons. Okay, we're cooking. Keep, send Teferi and Mox to the bottom. Or if Fastbond and Crucible, but I need the 3 lanes to get Crucible going. Yeah, it has to be Fastbond Mox. Ugh. Or Teferi Mox. Keep the Fastbond. Automaton. Okay, we're doing this again. Ruby. Lotus, okay. Just vintage stuff occurring here. Sphere of Resistance, cool. You're gonna sack your Lotus for another Sphere of Resistance? I'm ready. I wouldn't even be mad. Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. What else you got? Is that all? Oh, Bazaar Baghdad, the card that would have facilitated my turn 3 win. Cool. Okay. Urza Saga can tutor Black Lotus at some point. I think I'm going to need that. Alright, I'm going to play Urza Saga in the hope that it reaches Black Lotus before I lose the game. They do have 2 cards in their hand. They're definitely both Wasteland. Mox Pearl. Okay. And okay. It wasn't the Wasteland. Or at least they were saving it to slow roll me. Nope. Genuinely didn't have it. Count it. I'm gonna play this Forest, I guess. Pass the turn. And then next turn I will have 4, 5, 6 mana with which cast a card that costs 5. Okay, and I'm dead. They have me exactly dead here. So anything that's going to happen has to happen this turn. Mishra's Workshop, one of my best draws. Go to colorless, get Black Lotus. Does this even save me before I reveal what my deck does? Fastbond costs 3. Lotus out Fastbond. Then I can play land, Bazaar. And I don't have enough for Crucible. Crucible costs 5. This is an 8 mana line. And I have access to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yep. This does not get where it needs to go. I could play Tameshi this turn. Does that do stuff? I have the Lotus. I can fetch a white source. Does Tameshi outmuscle this? Tameshi costs the same as Crucible. Why would that be any different? If I play Tameshi first. Okay, so if I go 5 Tameshi, because I can play. Okay, I'm just going to start clicking because I think this is the closest thing to an out that I have. Okay. Let's go to my hand. We're at the battlefield. Goes to the battlefield. Good. Okay. Fetch for Tundra. 3, 4, 5. Tameshi. White. Pick up Lotus. Picking up the Tundra. You have to draw a card once this turn. It's Tinker. Green makes Fastbond. Okay. What's up, Tameshi? I see you. This is going to hurt me, but I'm in for it. I like the way it hurts. I can do this until Crucible's in play, or I could Tinker for something better. We're going to find out in a moment here, because this is massively mana positive. I have 5 now that can play the Crucible. I'm going to play Crucible, leaving white in the pool. I can rebuy Lotus again. And Bazaar of Baghdad get in there. Oh, I'm at 3. How did this happen? Oh, my opponent was beating the hell out of me. That's how it happened. Right. I understand. Okay. If I pick up my basic forest to get Lotus back again, that's another card in my hand that I care less about. Oh, I could have done this with the Bazaar. That's cool. I can chump block for a turn as well if I can make cool stuff happen this turn. Bazaar happens. Life from the Loam goes to the graveyard. Loam, drop, basic. And if I play Urza Saga, I go to 2. It's fine, I'm in. 2 is enough. And Tameshi, activate only as a sorcery. Whenever one or more non-creature permanents return to hand, draw a card. That's unlikely to be useful to me. What does Tinker do? Citadel's in my deck, but is not helpful. So I could Tinker for... If I go to 1... Okay. Tundra, then blue. I hope I counted this correctly. This is going to be a huge spew if I didn't. Pick up Bazaar. And... Oh, I did not count this correctly. I would have to sack my Crucible to Tinker here. Yeah, that was a waste. Shit. Do I do it anyway? I don't think so. Fuck. Alright, that was a big waste. That was a waste of a life point. And now that wastes that 1 life point, but I couldn't Tameshi next turn anyway. Can't play another land. That's not how this works. I could Tinker Crucible, but then my engine just dies. Okay, I think I have to pass here and just take my medicine on having wasted a life point there. Yeah, I just Put Bazaar Baghdad in my hand for no reason. Okay, pass the turn. That sucked. I mean, that was awesome that Tameshi got me that far. I promise you I am not a stupid person, nor an incapable Magic player. This deck just melts your friggin' head. Okay, block here. And then I can make a construct to survive next turn. Opponent is Hellbent. Dredged Loam, yes. The key just hit the graveyard. Maybe I wasn't supposed to Dredge Loam. Could I have tinkered this turn? The lands in my graveyard, are these better than the lands in my hand? I think I need to activate Bazaar if I'm going to have any chance in this game. So I'm going to play Bazaar. And I'll use Lotus to activate Saga. Or I get more blocks if I just play a land like a normal person. Okay, I will play a land like a normal person. And pass the turn. Plan is to block twice with Saga tokens. This block here, need them to not add a single point of power or damage to the board in any capacity. Stop tapping mana. Let's cast like a Soul Ring or something. Shit. Alright, well. Now my plan doesn't work. And we're going to have to actually do this thing. Sucks I milled the key. Maybe I wasn't supposed to Dredge Loam. There was probably a deterministic line there that resulted in Vault Key. Pulse Citadel, certainly not helpful. Oh, if I... Oh, I can just... Yeah, okay. No, we're good. This is where I get the map, which gets the chasm, and then we go off. Okay. Wow. My brain is goo. Glacial Chasm. And this is my first land for the turn, but it doesn't matter because I get as many as I damn well want. And now I can loot my deck away. Citadel, Loam to the graveyard. And play all these mana sources. Drop. Can't play Misty. That is not damage. That is loss of life. They'll still kill me. Here's Wasteland, which can finish off the Bazaar combo. I want to tinker first. I don't have any artifacts laying around. Fine. Wait, I don't even need to do this. The whole combo is here in front of me. Okay, I can just deck my opponent. Let's see if demonstrating the loop earns a concession, or if they want to make me play this out. I'm getting make me play it out vibes. That's okay. I got nothing about time. Happy to look at your whole deck if you don't want to be cool. Here comes all my lands again. Okay, they figured it out. They wanted to see it 4 times. Not 1 time, not until it was done. They decided what their life was worth. Okay. There was probably a clean line to Vault Key there, but we ended up with a clean line to Fastbond loop. Wild stuff. Crush sucks, Energy Flux, get in. Luka Bog, get out. Mox Diamond, get out. Sensei's Divining Top, get out. And Trinosphere, get out. This looks like a clean way to do this. Okay, this hand, once again, is missing a green source. That has been a consistent problem and feedback I offer to Schultz Cubed. And I'm mulling a lot of hands that contain Fastbond, which seems like is exactly opposite of what I want to be doing with my life. I'll send that. Okay, Riftstone Portal. I love Mana Crypt in this matchup. Okay, keep this, and every single card in my hand is great. I don't have a green card for Force of Vigor. I do have Sapphire and Grip to push above spheres, and then I jam Energy Flux. That's a game plan. Game plan that doesn't work if they have Chalice. God. They have more pieces of power in their hand than I do. That is undeniable. Foundry Inspector, okay. Show me the rest of your hand now. What else you got? Sphere of Resistance. I'm ready to push through that one. Saga, okay. They can still cast a 2-drop here. Pithing Needle. Not worried about that right now. Wasteland, okay. This is a start we can beat. Versus Saga. Mana Crypt. Mox Sapphire. That could have happened in either order, but this is the order I did it in. I can play Energy Flux next turn. and send my opponent to hell. It also kind of sends me to hell, but I'm betting that I can rebuild better than them. Lost the flip. Time Vault, okay. Destroying all my artifacts. When my plan is to destroy all artifacts. Well, this is the plan I have. Splat. That's how we do it. Sideboard cards. And we're on the board. On to the next one. The Command Tower software by Eminence Gaming is perfect for hosting TCG events. It features easy to create event registration for 1v1 and 4-player Swiss structured tournaments. Event management has never been so simple, and it's web-based, so there's no download required. Get access for just $5 at eminence.event/subscribe. I'm on the draw in round 4. Let's try to keep this momentum going. I have Black Lotus, Fastbond, Life from the Loam. I'm going to keep this. This is a hand I can keep with Fastbond and a green source. Pleasant surprise. And I was thinking about it a little bit between games. I don't know that Caracas belongs in the main deck in Vintage because creatures aren't that important, and the ones that are important aren't always legendary. But this sideboard has a bunch of chaff in it. These are just like cards that are good against random shit. But if you really drilled in and figured out your numbers, there's no reason you couldn't have one Caracas in the sideboard if you do happen to queue into Oath. Versus Saga. It's been a popular choice this league. Oh my god. Versus Saga, go. That's what you have? Can I draw a Wasteland, please? Nope. Not yet. I could Expedition Map for one. Alright, let's see if Fastbond resolves first. Then I'll make additional decisions. We're in there. Okay, Misty Rainforest. And Black Lotus. Is Wasteland the correct place to go here, or should I be getting Bazaar online? Like they went Saga, go. They didn't counter Fastbond or Black Lotus. I think I should get Bazaar. Make green, green, green. Play map. Dig up Bazaar. I have the Loam. Is that useful right now? Here's Bazaar. And I can activate Bazaar, see where that goes. Saga, that turns on Loam. I can hit 2 more land drops this turn if I want to. Or I could deploy top and wait a turn. I think I'm just going to Saga top. Hold my horses. Saga and Sensei's top. Is there a reason to spin this now? There could be. I'm going to get Tundra. I'm going to activate top. Bolas's Citadel. I'm quite sure I don't want that. Jukabog Urza Saga. Okay. I'm probably dredging Loam here, saying goodbye to my Citadel forever. Let's see what happens here. Am I dead? Did we just get way ahead of shops? Are we about to die to PO? Ancient Tomb is not usually in PO. If they fire off main deck Graveyard Hate, I can draw a card with top and replace that draw with Loam. I should assume that Graveyard Hate is possible out of the Urza Saga trigger. So if I activate Bazaar now, I can dredge Loam, draw another card, discard both of those cards, go to my draw step, and also dredge Loam. And that would put more cards in my graveyard for potential Wasteland, which is something I'm very interested in. Yeah, I'm going to Bazaar in the upkeep, and I am going to dredge Loam. Discarding Crop Rotation and Loam. And draw for turn. Dredge Loam. Did not come up with the Wasteland I was looking for. That doesn't mean I'm done. I can Loam targeting Saga, Misty, and Chasm. Putting Chasm in my hand at least protects my possible combo. Saga, Misty, Chasm. And I'm going to tap my Saga to do this. This would be an inopportune time for them to reveal a counterspell. Okay, they are PO, it turns out. I activate my Sensei's top to look at my top 3 cards. If Wasteland's there, we're still cooking. Riftstone Portal. I mean, that doesn't suck. Beseiju is fine as well. But yeah, this is going to slow me down in a sad way, where if they play a Soul Guide Lantern, they can get it, or I might just die here. Okay, I'll put these cards back with Beseiju on the top, And there's your Force of Will. Okay, sad times. Big beats coming from the tokens as well. I think that was the window. I needed to find a Wasteland and didn't. Oh, well, they counted my thing anyway. So, Wasteland, not helpful. Ancient Tomb and PO is interesting. Maybe that's just stock now. I'm not going to lie, I have not played a lot of Vintage lately. That is not technology that I see, that I recall from my time in the trenches. Saga's going to pop. Am I getting my Soul Guide lanterned? They're getting Soul Ring. That's somehow more terrifying. Oh god, your PO shops. That makes sense. Okay. I was vaguely aware that this was a thing that existed. God, what are you spending 7 mana on right now? Oh, Coveted Jewel. So you draw 3 cards. And you make 3 mana. Yeah, you might just go off right now. And I have to attack my opponent to gain control of the jewel. Grim Monolith, sure. Monolith does represent another jewel if they have another jewel. 3 mana in the pool, 2 cards in hand. Got 6 in the pool. That's the correct number to jewel. Metamorph, yep, that's a jewel as well. Okay, they're storming out. Boxjet, Mana Vault. Dumping it all out here. They might 16 me with this single construct this turn. Oh, especially with Mystic Forge in the mix. Yikes. So I need to survive this turn and find a Crucible of Worlds. Okay, they just dumped a bunch of mana into untapping Grim Monolith. That probably means they're about done for the turn. Okay, this Boseiju on top of my deck looking less good than it did a second ago. I think I have to Dredge Loam on this draw step. Dredge Loam on the draw step. Then Saga activates. I'm going to float a green because I have Riftstone Portal now. And Savine's Wreck is in the graveyard. If I can find... Oh, I used my Lotus on turn 1, right. If I can find a Crucible, get it into my graveyard. Oh, we're too late for that too. I could try to buy some time with Glacial Chasm and a Crypt. That deals damage, so Chasm does protect me from that. Okay, that looks like the best bet. That just does the most here. Getting Key for Time Vault is tempting, but we're not really there yet. Okay, Glacial Chasm. There's a Saga and the Seiju to my hand. Is that what I want to be doing? They have 1 card in their hand. Now Loam's in the graveyard, so if I activate Bazaar, I can get a Dredge. And I still could have enough mana this turn. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 if I discard 3. Could still happen. Okay. Draw 2, discard. Dredge Loam. Flip over a Crucible, please. Not flip over a Crucible. I discard the Seiju, Glacial Chasm, and Ipnu Rivulet. In my hand, my plan is to hide behind this Chasm anyway. See how deep I can go on it in 1 turn. Chasm, Strip Mine, Tabernacle. I have so much artifact, man. I can't imagine this matters at all. Tabernacle's kind of a free roll, though, because I have Riftstone Portal. Alright, give me some more. And then Chasm can sacrifice Bazaar. And then Saga, Strip Mine, Tabernacle. I can flip top to Dredge Loam again and get another spin here. Draw a card. I am going to replace this draw. Loam. Crucible still not forthcoming. Graveyard has Citadel, Teferi. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I could Savine's Wreck getting back to Fairy and what? Chronosphere? That's not helpful. My Loam targets Mystic Sanctuary. I don't have 3 islands, but I could have 3 islands. Then I rebuy Ancestral. Okay. Bazaar, Sanctuary, and Misty. Green, colorless. All these back. Misty, fetch this for a 3rd island. Drop, play Bazaar. And then I think I want to play Mystic Sanctuary, target Ancestral, and then activate Bazaar in response. Target Ancestral, and then in response, tap Bazaar. Oh, there's a Crucible. We're in business. Oh, wait. I have 5 mana. Did I just go off? Savine's Wreck. Target Crucible of Worlds. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh my god. Things that I did completely on purpose include this line that happened this turn. Crucible, and I would like to use Savine's Wreck. And I think Tameshi is better than Teferi here. No, but Teferi draws the Ancestral. Does that matter? I always like an Ancestral. Oh, Tameshi also draws the Ancestral, though. Yes, okay. Tameshi, get up here. We're cooking. Okay. Mishra's Workshop from the graveyard. All my lands are good for white, so I can go white, target Black Lotus on the rebuy, and pick up Mystic Sanctuary to do this. First bounce of the turn, draws Ancestral, not Dredging Loam this time. Getting Lotus. Now if I find Time Walk, I'm infinite. Well, wasting all their lands is free. I'm going to do that while I think about what else I'm going to do this turn. Wasteland you. I have won the game. I'm just figuring out if I can do it a more exciting way. A blue, Ancestral myself. Not going to Dredge Loam. I want to find Time Walk. There's Manifold Key and Tinker. That works too. All right. We are out here. Okay. Land. We have so many lands. Manifold Key. And tinker away the Mana Vault. Or Mana Crypt, whatever this thing is that I have. There's a Time Vault in here somewhere. Untap target artifact. Can we get a scoop? All right, we just had to show them a win condition. Okay, that is a thing that happened. Okay, some more shops, but this is PO shops. Collector Oof, definitely up my interest here. Energy Flux. I don't love it versus PO, but do love it versus shops. Gush. The Fairy. Trinisphere. I mean, Trinisphere is awkward because they're also a PO deck. Maybe Trinisphere is great. Oh yeah, they're a Mystic Forge deck. I think this is more of a combo deck than it is a true workshop deck. It's a PO deck that plays workshops. It's not a shops deck in any traditional sense. In that case, maybe I'm lower on Energy Flux, higher on Mindbreak Trap. The Chalice is tempting. If I don't bring it in here, what's it even for? Just a fair question that I don't have a good answer to. Still low on Mox Diamond. This is not a Bojuka Bog match. That Trinisphere Collector Oof is a powerful squeeze against most opponents. Maybe I don't play the Tinker. Yeah, I've been boarding out the spells a lot, which might be indicative of the matchups or might be indicative that I don't know what I'm doing. But it has made sense to me to cut the entire Tinker package, basically every match so far. I have a Bazaar and a Crucible, no fast mana, no disruption. I have Beseiju, that's kind of like disruption. I think I want to keep this. I'm kind of into the idea of just Bazaaring from a 7-card hand, value Bazaar. Saga Go is their play again. Fastbond off the top, let's go. Easy game. Always had it. Okay, Tropical Island, Fastbond, which is definitely going to resolve, right? Right? It resolved. Okay. Bazaar Baghdad, get in. And I guess I have to tap this. If I find a land, then I can start Crucibling. Activating Bazaar. Don't need a second Fastbond. Savine's Wreck is better in the graveyard. And I hate to lose Tameshi here, but if I go 1, 2, 3, I can get all the lands out of my deck with Crucible. And then I can Savine's Wreck the Tameshi next turn. Okay, fine. That sounds reasonable. Misty, Oboro. I could also just Beseiju this Saga. Kind of like the idea of getting all the lands out of my deck and then just letting it rip with Crucible and Fastbond next turn with Bazaar in the mix. And that is what I'm going to do. Fetch. I'm just going to fetch all of the fetchables out of my deck so I don't draw them. This is going to cost me a lot of life, but it'll leave my deck in a very exciting position to start a turn at. Forest, and I guess I'll just float the Misty in play, but I don't need to fetch for Mystic Sanctuary yet. Yeah, that doesn't do anything important. Could have Savines the Tameshi there. I don't know. That doesn't seem good yet. That was a good turn 1, though. Let's see what their turn 2 holds. Okay. They might just combo off here. They suddenly went from Saga Go to 7 mana. 8 mana. Time Vault. Uh-oh. Had to tinker here with this Boseiju sitting in play like a chump. Yeah, okay. Alright, they get all the turns now, and there's nothing I can do about it. Okay. Alright, yeah, the Boseiju, like I said when I played it, it's awkward that I have to play this. Maybe I didn't actually have to play it. I don't know. I think Chalice on the play is reasonable. Trinisphere seems great against their deck, actually. And is top too slow? Don't feel like I'm going to have a lot of time to do that. Let's do it. On the play, I have Bazaar into Riftstone Portal. Is that actually good? I strip and waste. I'll keep this. Strip Mine Wasteland is pretty exciting. I'm going to activate Bazaar now. My deck has power in it. Riftstone Portal, and don't need Misty if I still have my graveyard, but I don't know that I'll still have my graveyard next turn. I could discard Time Vault and figure that out later. The Savines Wreck is what I mean by that, or Tameshi works too. Alright, yeah, I'll just bend the Time Walk, and I guess the Wasteland. I just don't want to rely on Riftstone Portal as my green source. I think Collector Roof is very important here. And a Crypt. Wish the Oof was in play. From Monolith. Yep, still wish this Oof was in play. And a Vault. Academy, sure. Might just get vintaged here. Good news is, if we don't get vintage, Collector Oof is a hammer. Bad news is we're probably getting vintage. Do have the Jewel with 2 mana floating, so 5 available right now. Paradoxical Outcome just kills me. It's good for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cards and completely pays for itself to redeploy the Jewel and everything. Slowing. Uh-oh. If they had these cards before they tapped Academy, they would not have tapped Academy. Jewel's coming in again. Don't find a PO. Don't find a PO. Jewel number 3. Still don't find a PO. There's a lot of mana in the pool. Yikes. I guess I'll make you show it to me. I don't know what the win condition actually is yet. They didn't pick up the coveted jewels. Interesting. They would have been able to replay them, right? Or at least some of them. Format script. Disappointing. Glad I held on to Misty Rainforest, though. It doesn't look like it's going to matter. I'm just F6 tier. If I had interaction, it would have happened on the outcome. Yeah, maybe on the play, I'm just supposed to mulligan to something with either Fastbond or a Mox in it that can turn one a Collector Roof. The last 2 games I had Breathing Room. They just went Saga Go twice. And now this. A Time Walk. Cool. Wasn't already dead. Arn the Great Creator. Okay. I believe that as a win condition, I'm ready to concede. Yes, sometimes you have turn 2 Collector Roof and Ancestral Recall, but you don't get a turn 2. Mulligans could have happened here. Chase that turn 1 Oof a little harder. But they had not shown me this level of explosiveness in the previous 2 games. I don't know. Look what they did to my boy. My beautiful boy. For the absolute best Magic the Gathering apparel on the market, check out the link in the video description to coalesceapparel.shop, and be sure to use the code BoshNRoll for 10% off when you check out. I'm on the play for the final round. I have this Savines Wreck Tinker hand that has Bazaar, but isn't going anywhere super quick. I think I want to keep it, though. Tinker for Bolas the Citadel. This is the livest it's been in the league. And I've got some goop I can discard to Bazaar and try to get something going. Opponent also kept 7. Bazaar. If I Bazaar now, I'm basically looking for fast mana. Fast bond. How about that? Savine's Wreck, Mystic Sanctuary, and somehow just Tinker. I don't have that many artifacts in the deck. So I think Tinker is worse than Tameshi, Reality Architect, in Vintage Magic the Gathering. I don't know if I could talk myself into that. In Sanctuary, I can rebuy the Tinker at some point. Tameshi goes with the Savine's Wreck, though. Alright. I'll discard Tameshi. And hope to draw a Mox next turn. A Polluted Delta. What does that mean for me? Basic Island. Smart. It's like they knew my hand was full of Wastelands. Soul Ring. I'm jealous. Soul Ring would be pretty good for me. Gets this Tinker on the stack. Expedition map. Do I even play Soul Ring? I don't. That's why I haven't drawn it often this league. Okay. So Fastbond is the only play here. Tropical Island Fastbond is where I'm starting this turn. We're in there with Fastbond, in there with Wasteland. I'll play the map, investing in my Tinker next turn, and play the other Wasteland. And I'm not gonna activate Bazaar because I am interested in Tinker. And then we'll see what happens here. I might just get Tinkered and die first. They could have a counterspell somewhere in their 7-card hand. Time Walk, okay. Legal. Merchant Scroll. Just getting Ancestral here. Mystical. I am gonna Wasteland right now. They're about to take an extra turn. I don't want them to have this mana. Scroll for Mystical could indicate Breach is where they're headed. Right, they are upkeeping this thing. Tinker, okay. I did take them off the face-up Tinker, but they had a face-down Tinker. They had to use their land drop to do it. If it's Citadel, got a chance. Citadel, pass the turn, land on top. A Parade, no! I needed that to Tinker. Oh, and there's a Breach on top of their deck. There's nothing they can cast out of their graveyard, though. That's not good unless they hit. Oh, something like Time Twister. Alright, let's do the twist. Okay, I have Crucible Fastbond here. Am I going to get a turn? Okay, I'm going to let Breach die, then I'm going to activate Bazaar. Cool, there's a Time Walk. Jukabog is not bad. Don't need a second Fastbond, that's easy. And Forest. And I like Buried Ruin. I don't need Misty Rainforest here among these cards. Boom, what's up? Just see if this Crucible resolves first. That's the first big test. Crucible's on the stack. Wow, we're in there. Okay. Wasteland, your Volcanic Island. And play Wasteland from the graveyard. Do I want a Life from the Loam yet? I have Time Walk. I can just go again. I'm gonna bog them. Do seem to use their graveyard. I could just fetch all the fetchables out of my deck. I can find a Boseiju somewhere along this road. That's pretty good. If I fetch enough lands to cast Loam and Time Walk, that's a plan for a subsequent turn. Let me see if this Time Walk resolves, then we can make additional decisions. Time Walk? Yeah, I'd be surprised if Crucible resolved and then Time Walk didn't. Tundra. Misty Rainforest. Fetch this Tropical Island here. And then Life from the Loam targeting 2 things. And I'm going to use Bazaar, Dredge, and discard 3 lands because I get those back anyway. 3 money. And Misty Rainforest from the graveyard gets me Time Walk on top. And I have the Tameshi loop here. Okay. We're actually just gravy. Cast Tameshi. And fetch for Mystic Sanctuary, which can now go infinite with Time Walk and Black Lotus. Nice. We got a Tameshi kill. A genuine Tameshi infinite turns loop. Cool. My opponent is a Breach strategy. It's trusty old Tinker Breach. Collector Oof. Pretty annoying. Mindbreak Trap. Annoying. Chalice. Good here. Chronosphere is great. Yeah, I'm thinking that Tinker package just does not belong in this deck, or at least not the Bolas' Citadel. That just has not been something I care about. The Teferis have come out basically every round. I haven't played against a real blue control deck. I think I'd probably want the Teferis versus some Xerox pile. That has not been my pairings. Jukabog does matter in this matchup. I've been dubious about Mox Diamond 2. Maybe I just don't get it, but these seem like the kind of filler cards for the main deck that go right out when you know specifically what you're trying to do in the sideboard games. And Force of Vigor is good here too. How much space do I want to make? And I don't need Bajuka Bog if I can control Breach. Chalice on the draw is worse than Chalice on the play. And maybe my build of this deck just wouldn't have Chalice in the sideboard. I'm thinking more green sources, something that deals with a creature in the sideboard, some land, whether it's Karakas or Maze of Ith, to be determined. Oh, this hand is sus. 0 lands. I do have protection for a combo. I can't even like float green and get the ball rolling with loam and crop rotation because there's no lands to start the ball rolling. But more than half of my deck is a land at this point. I'm actually going to keep this. Any land gets it going here. Literally anyone. Oh, Glacial Chasm doesn't. Okay, almost any land. This might be a suspicious keep, but it's got a lot of power in it, and one land getting things going with crop rotation and Crucible and Loam is all I need. And maybe I'll just draw the key and take infinite turns. Okay, opponent has started with 2 Leyline of the Voids. I do not have my Sphinx in. I do have oofs that can beat down. This does make the whole Crucible Loam plan way worse. Underground Sea, Mox Jet. That's 1 spell. I kind of hope they just go Soul Ring Tinker here. Just ram it into the Mindbreak Trap. B, functionally Hellbent, because I'm also pretty close to Hellbent, despite having 7 cards in my hand. Merchant Scroll. Okay, that's 2 spells. Got Ancestral Recall. Probably won't be able to fight over that one on the timetable I need to. Oh, Wasteland, what's up? Wasteland might take them off the blue they need to Ancestral. And I can hard cast Mindbreak Trap if I feel like it's necessary. Ox Pearl doesn't make blue. Oh my god, we did it. Alright, deck, come on. Manifold Key. Strip Mine. I guess I should play the Vault. Just get it out there. I can't hardcast Mindbreak Trap now. Ah! Oh, they didn't Ancestral, though. Oh, they waited till second main. Weird. Alright, that's allowed, I guess. Ancestral got through. That's 1 spell. 2 spells. Alpine Moon. Do I care about this? I don't think so. They name Urza Saga? Oh, they named Strip Mine. Interesting. Okay, Misty Rainforest is here now. This represents crop rotation for Urza Saga, which is a win condition under all these ley lines since they Alpine Mooned a random card. 4 cards in your hand. I can... Oh, did I cut Bajuka Bog? I think I did, right? Brainstorm resolves. That's 1. Yeah, Bajuka Bog was cut. Okay, I don't have access to Bog. I'm hoping to rotate into Urza Saga here. I can make any color of mana with Strip Mine. I think I still fetch and get Tropical Island, then rotate that away. Leaving the Strip Mine in play. Drop rotate for Saga. I can cast Mindbreak Trap if I need to fight over this. Not need to fight over this. Where's a Saga? Let's go. It will immediately untap and learn how to make constructs. And they are on 1 turn notice before I take infinite turns. Saga ticks up. Play Wasteland. Got a lot of mana over there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Don't think I Wasteland here. The 6 mana I have is enough to make a construct and hardcast Mindbreak Trap, but I don't need to make a construct if I just win the game on the following turn. And maybe I should Wasteland them, just do anything I can to constrict their options here. I'm going to go after Underground Sea. I think it's kind of a wash. These are all their blue sources. Vault Breacher. Don't think I care about this card. I can fight over a wheel and then untap and take all the turns forever. They would need wheel, force blue card. Ah, shit. Well, I guess this has just become my fight. Because if they name Time Vault, I'm out of luck. Alright, please be empty. No additional cards in your hand. Here comes the Breacher attack. Moment of Truth. Draw for turn, found the other Saga. Flow colorless. Tutor up the key. And I have unlimited turns, please. Oh no, they have the Abrade. Ooh, okay. Alright, back to the Saga plan it is. And I'm not doing anything else with this mana anymore, so might as well invest in Crucible in case I draw a Force of Vigor. Time Walk puts me to 10. And they get a redraw. If they find a wheel, I'm in trouble. Back Faden, that's troublesome as well. They take my Mox. They could take Crucible, but Mox turns me off of making constructs. Yeah, this one is just slowly trickling away. We had a couple good shots at it. Taking my Mox. Okay, let's draw any mana producing land here, deck. Deck can also target me, and I have to discard 2 cards and they make 2 treasures. That engine is online. Come on, mana producing land. Collector, oof. This is not the worst card I've ever seen. Trades with Hullbreacher and shuts off all their crap, including treasures, if necessary. They are targeting me with Dak Faden. That exiles my Loam. They get 2 treasures. And we're going in here. Ooh, okay, so I can float a colorless and rotate this away with the search trigger on the stack. So that was a pretty spicy draw. Running out of win conditions, though. Not a fan of that. We just get a Wasteland and take them off all mana and functioning. Guess so. Sensei's top. And a Crypt they can steal. I can't activate any of these anyway. It doesn't matter. I get top. Invest in the future. We're going to take them off all mana in the meantime. Eventually, Dak will beat me here. I could attack Dak right now, which clears Hullbreacher, but unlocks all this other junk. So what game plan do I think is a better one? Alright, I'm going to hold on for dear life to this Collector Roof, because I think it's the only thing that makes this even look like we're playing a game. So if Dak just pluses on me every turn, keeps me hellbent, then I'll never have 2 cards for 4 screen card to clear the ley lines, and then I'll never get out from under anything. I guess if I just make 4 land drops in a row, and then draw Force in that order, that's a line. They're actually decking themselves now. Discarded 2 artifacts that don't work in favor of making a land drop. Ooh, Tabarnacle. Bummer on finding the Misty Rainforest right there. That almost killed this thing. Alright, well. The next Wasteland kills the Hullbreacher. They won. Oh, that would have been such a sick draw last turn. Yeah, they have a basic, and my Strip Mine is currently sleeping, so that's not going to get me anywhere. Stole my Crucible. Yep. I think I'm good here. I've seen enough. They've gotten over the hump. That Dak Vaden was just crushing. Okay, so Tinker would sidestep the Graveyard Hate pretty well. Teferi can bounce ley lines, but the timetable on which Teferi bounces leyline, they could just replay leyline. I don't think that's the way to go. Courser dodges leyline and increases my green count. I think I want Tinker in. Just more ways to assemble Vault Key. They're on leylines. I could cut the loam or trim on Crucible. Like, I need my deck to function. But what if I just become like Bant midrange with a lands tutor package? What does that deck look like? 1 Crucible, no loams. On the play, Chalice actually seems pretty good. Expedition map is good. Do I want a Sphinx or a Citadel in, or am I happy with Tinker for Vault Key or Tinker for 3-ball? Tinker for Crucible as well. Savine's Wreck. That one's pretty bad if I'm expecting ley lines. Fastbond is also a lot worse if I don't have Crucible or Loam in. But Fastbond goes off with Courser. Never mind. I'm back on that. Gotta find one more cut. I want access to at least 1 Crucible. Maybe 2 is too many Teferis. Alright, I'll try it like this. This is the boldest thing I've tried so far. But I think it makes sense. Okay. Get to Chalice my opponent, and then have a Collector Roof as well. Happy with that arrangement. This is a hand that's pretty solid against ley lines. I really hope that they keep a sketchy hand based on leyline, or they mulligan to a hand that includes leyline. Okay, they do have a leyline. And I do have a Boseiju. That is my second land currently to cast Oof. Let's see if I could lock them out before they get anything going here. If they do anything too fast, I have Mindbreak Trap, and if they do anything too slow, I have Chalice and Oof. And Trinisphere. Tropical Island. Expedition Map. And Chalice on 0. Get in there. Mess them up. Folding Tarn. Hithing Needle. Gonna name Map? Or are you gonna be more clever than that? Expedition Map. Okay, they did go for the onboard thing. I would love to draw a mana producing land here. Oh, that's a lot of mana. Alright. Take a seat over there. How about Trinisphere? And it's in. Okay. We're gonna have trouble doing anything this turn. Glacial Chasm, unfortunate. I would love to Boseiju this leyline through a non-mana producing land. Oh, I can't play Oof anyway because it costs 3. Did sort of lock myself out of that. Okay, if that's the case, I'm just gonna pass and hope that my hate pieces hold up. And when I find a mana producing land, I can Boseiju the leyline and then get to work. Oh, they're playing Draw Go as well with no land drop. It's crop rotation. Okay. Awkward deck continues to be awkward. Off we go. They found land number 3. This could be bad. Ball Breacher, shit. Collector Oof. Now I have to play Boseiju. God. This was such a good start, and then it just fell apart based on drawing my lands that don't produce mana. Now if they wheel me, they will clear everything and get a million treasures to shove through Trinisphere. I have a mana producing land, please, deck. You have a Maya the turn after I drop Boseiju. The hits keep coming. Okay, Collector Roof's on the stack. And it's in there. Now I'm less worried about getting wheeled. Brainstorm in the end step. Okay. 3 mana for that one. Discount price. They're offering the trade. I'm going to take it. I have more where this came from. And with both Trinisphere and Chalice in play, not super worried about artifacts this turn. Even if they tinker right now, Citadel sucks. Okay, Mox Pearl that cannot be cast. Alright, free to play a creature. Ball Breacher. Alright, we both had a similar plan here. They have Narset to go with it. Demonic Tutor. That's a someday problem. Meshy without a graveyard. Maybe I should have cut those before I started cutting Crucibles. Whatever. I am going to crop rotate for Bajuka Bog, or not Bajuka Bog, Urza Saga. Don't think I'm going to do it now. I'm going to pass. I'm holding up Mindbreak Trap, which I can't hard cast because I don't have double blue. But I can pay the 3 for Trinisphere if they cast 3 spells, which is going to be really hard with Trinisphere. But if they do anything this turn, like commit this Demonic Tutor, I get to crop rotate with impunity. There's a Twister. They cast this. I rotate in response. 1, 2. What am I rotating away? Tameshi can pick up with Seiju. Oh, that's a thing. Oh, but I need a target, so no, I can't. All right, I'm going to crop rotate the Workshop. I think that's run its course. Get Urza Saga. And then I lose everything. And they get a bunch of treasures that they can't use. They have their own Saga. You hate to see it. Now they're trying to attack. Not interested. I'll have that thing beat in combat next turn. Riftstone Portal. Might as well play it, I guess. Oh, did they leave the shields down on Narset? Trying to get that attack in. There's only 2 mana here. Okay. They're Narset. I don't feel good about this game. Remember that like 3-turn window, 4-turn window where a mana source wins the game? But instead we did not draw a mana source. And then we drew Yavimaya the turn after, which would have been perfect 2 turns earlier. They are a Grixis, Tinker, Breach, Wheel deck with 6 cards in hand. I can make a 4/4 here. Don't expect that to go very far, because there's our millions. These treasures can't be used, but they do exist. Make another construct. Oh god, am I getting dressed down too? Oh, opposition agent, that's so much worse. Okay, so I simply cannot win this game at all. Yeah, their things are bigger and they got me locked out. Okay, I'm prepared to throw in the towel at this point. A tough showing with the deck, but a lot was learned. I'm not gonna put too much of that on the deck. There were some tricky interactions learned on the fly, like picking up your Oboro is free under Fastbond and gives you an extra card for Cephalid Coliseum, so you can actually keep something. That was huge. Sequencing is an insane nightmare in this deck, but that's not what we're talking about. You can watch the matches to learn that stuff. Schultz Cube sent me the deck for my feedback on its construction, and I think that Bolas the Citadel sucks and doesn't do anything. If we're gonna play Tinker or Vault Key, which seems like something we do want to do because we're also a Saga deck, then maybe a monster is better than Citadel, or we just don't have a top end threat, and Tinker for Crucible or Tinker for Trinisphere is as exciting as the Tinker gets, but it's one of the more fair and honest Tinkers that there's ever been. I mulliganed a lot of hands that contain Fastbond because it couldn't cast Fastbond. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 and a half, 11 and a half green sources in the deck. That's like 1 out of every 5.5 cards is a green source. So an opening hand, air quotes, should be likely to contain a green source. You're way more likely to have a green source than you are to have a Fastbond. Maybe I just ran bad, but it seems it's a rough beat when you have the 3 of in your opening hand, but not the 11 of to enable it. I understand we're walking a tightrope here and trying to fit a lot into this engine, but I would like to see more green somewhere. Maybe the Bolas of Citadel could just be another forest or another fetch land. It might even be that easy. And then the sideboard, I would like a Caracas or Mazavith, something that deals with a creature. And not Otawara. Otawara is cool, but it's not the type of answer we need. Otawara works with loam and expedition map. It does not work with crop rotation. So that would be cutting a piece off of our engine. And Teferi did almost nothing. I boarded him out a lot. Never felt like it was something I wanted in a matchup. And I know that our deck is fully more than 50% lands and artifact mana sources, so we're going to have trouble supporting any amount of force, whether it's of vigor or of will. But I do wish the main deck could interact with the stack at all. I guess if the argument is Teferi is like a preemptive counterspell, Teferi is our Thoughtseize to let us go off, but we're frequently working on thin margins of colored mana. When is this Teferi going to be in play? How do we get it there, and on what timetable? My brain is kind of mush from playing this league, so I'm not going to try to go much deeper on this from here, but I will say that I will just summarize. If I have my Fastbond in my opening hand, I want to be able to have a green source to cast it. Tinker seems medium, and if we are casting Tinker, I don't know that Bolus the Citadel is the card we want to get, because if we don't have a Fastbond already, then this high density of lands is going to make Citadel really embarrassing. Something in the sideboard to deal with creatures, please. Those are my critiques. My compliments are this deck rips. When it does its thing, it happens very quickly, and I was impressed how quickly we could get it going. All of the pieces make a lot of sense. I think we did most of the things that the deck does. We got Time Vault wins. We assembled a lot of Fastbond Crucible. Hypno Rivulet kills. Tameshi went off a couple times. We did the Infinite Time Walk Tameshi thing. I think we showcased what the deck can do pretty well. And I think being able to thread all those needles together, despite me not being able to quite carry the deck's engines effectively, there's so many of them, and they're so weird, and they come out of nowhere. And if you get the reps the way that Schultz has done, I imagine you'll see those lines a lot quicker and find them much smoother. This deck is very cool. Vintage is an insane format, and I'm glad that there is somewhere that something like this can exist in Constructed Magic. I'm here for it. Schultz Cubed, sorry I wasn't able to carry your deck quite that well, but I hope my insights are useful. And everybody, thanks for watching. Thanks for coming along with the ride. Be sure to like, comment, subscribe, check out the Patreon, and I'll see you next time.